Three fish to buy.
Three fish?
I'm buying 3 fish to buy 3 long-term fish.
If I give you a fish, you know what to do with it. At least, you're not going to accidentally kill yourself with it. Oh man, it's good to be back. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Steven Spicer, and it's my goal to help you invest smarter. Now, if that's something you're interested in, I hope you'll hit that subscribe button and join us on this journey, because I love this stuff. And I'm assuming, since you're here right now, that you love this stuff as well. But I have to be honest, this dynamic, the way that creators and consumers interact through YouTube, can sometimes make it difficult for me to achieve that goal of helping you or anyone interested invest smarter. It's a great way to reach more people, but I have to admit that sometimes I wonder if I'm doing more harm than good. Let me explain. My initial interest in being open about sharing and explaining my investment process came from one-on-one conversations with friends. Agree or disagree, it was all good. It was fun. They would ask me questions, and I felt like I was helping them invest smarter. But I knew them. I knew their unique circumstances, and they knew that my goal wasn't to get them to invest in a certain stock, but rather to just explore with them and better learn the process to help them get there for themselves. Those experiences led me to write for Seeking Alpha, which again, I felt like I was doing some good. There, most of the readers are traders and investors themselves. Most of them knew that I wasn't trying to sell them on anything. I was just presenting my research, my idea, my thesis. They knew that they would need to follow up any solid idea that I presented with their own research. And if they were still interested, find a way to work it into their own unique strategies. Now, these articles would often lead to a healthy debate / discussion in the comments. Some people agreed with my ideas. Some didn't, and I could learn from those people. And that was okay, because we were all, in that debate and discussion, learning from each other with the articles and the subsequent comments. But that wasn't enough for me. I didn't want to just help those people who are already somewhat experienced investors, traders. I wanted to take it a step further. I wanted to be able to reach and help as many people as possible. I wanted to be able to share with you as close to face as I could. YouTube seemed like the perfect medium to accomplish that. Also, upon further investigation, there appeared to be a need. There weren't too many practicing professionals, or at least highly experienced investors, creating educational videos in this space. So I decided to dive in. I started making YouTube videos. My modus operandi was, and still is, to help you invest smarter. Not to tell you exactly what to do, because no one can do that through a video intended for the masses. I keep thinking of the quote, "Give a man to fish, you feed him for a day. Teach a man to fish, and you feed him for a lifetime." My MO is to teach you to fish.
Fish!
My top stock picks, for example, aren't supposed to be your fish. That's why I go through the effort of including all the detail of how I come to my conclusions, the analysis process I undertake, and so on. That's why in the Empowered Stock Selector course on deep value investing, one of the first lessons is on finding your own style, on taking everything you can possibly learn from me and anyone else and figuring out how it can work uniquely for you, how you can work it into your process, if at all. So when I see comments in my videos or beneath the videos of others accusing us of misleading viewers, it's mildly upsetting.
Oh, that's really upsetting.
I don't think that's anyone's intent here, and I'm not sure anyone, definitely not me yet, has enough viewers to really influence the stock's price. This frustration was part of the reason for my brief YouTube sabbatical. As I was dealing with that question of whether I was doing more harm than good, and consequently if there's a better way to achieve my goal of helping people invest smarter. But of course, I struggled to find a way to reach anywhere near the number of people I can reach here on YouTube. Maybe I just need to be more clear in each of those videos I make. I am not recommending this stock. I just hope you can learn from my detailed description of the process I went through and so on. But I don't even know if that would help. I think Michael J. was spot on with his call to action to stop investing in financial education Jeremy's stocks. I mean, come on, that Robinhood find was pretty crazy.
In this case, the stocks people also bought after buying Callaway were Cirrus Logic, Toll Brothers, United States Steel, and Micron Technology. If you're a follower of Jeremy's channel, you know exactly why this is. That's because Cirrus Logic, Callaway, Toll Brothers, and United States Steel are 4 of the companies that Jeremy owns in his portfolio and heavily publicizes on his channel.
Super fascinating and very concerning. And if you haven't seen it, check it out. I'll link to that video in the description. Now, some people, including, I believe, Jeremy, took it as an attack on Jeremy.
We got attacked on YouTube, okay?
The intro was funny and
4 stocks I own. 4.
Stop it. Get some help.
I can see how it might be taken that way, but judging from the context of the entire rest of the video, I don't believe that was Michael's intent. When you listen to it, I think it becomes obvious that he's speaking to Jeremy's viewers. Heck, ultimately he's speaking to his own viewers, which he specifically pointed out.
You are ultimately responsible for all of your investment decisions, and you should never just copy or rely on the opinion of someone else, whether that's me or Jeremy or anyone else on the internet or YouTube.
And mine, for that matter. And he's absolutely right. I don't want people to blindly follow me into a position. Do you know how stressful that is? Maybe not, but it is. When people follow me in, even if I explicitly caution them against it, I can't help but feel responsible. Even though that wasn't my point, I wasn't asking them to do that, it's stressful, hence my recent absence. I mean, I get stressed enough managing my clients' portfolios, and these are clients about whom I know a lot and who have entrusted me entirely to manage their portfolios. Meaning I get to use my own strategies, I get to be in tune with everything that's going on with them and with their portfolios. That's the only way I could do this, when I have total control like that. But even then, it's a little stressful. It's way more stressful thinking that several thousand people are going to watch a stock pick video hoping for a home run, and then knowing that some of them will go and invest without any further context as to whether or not this stock fits into their particular portfolio, works with their unique strategy, or even jives with their distinctive temperament. And that's just dangerous. And since I know that that will happen, at least to some degree, no matter how much I might caution, it's hard to not feel some sense of responsibility for that. I hope that makes sense. Now, I brought up the "give a man a fish" saying earlier.
Fish?
Which is particularly apropos in this scenario. But I think the problem here is much worse. If I give you a fish, you know what to do with it, more or less. Maybe if I give you a fully cooked fish. At least you're not going to accidentally kill yourself with it. I mean, I hope not. But if I give you a stock, one in which the odds could be skewed in your favor, given the way that I trade and invest, if you don't know what you're doing, you could do some real damage. You could blow up, kill your portfolio, your life savings. And I don't mean that to be insulting to anyone. That's not my goal here. My MO is to help. But everyone's a little different when it comes to investing. What makes sense for me may not make sense for you, or for Michael, or for Jeremy. Your risk tolerance, your understanding of this particular stock, sector, industry, your general temperament, all of those things taken together, plus many other factors, all point to a unique trading style that will work the best for you. I can help you learn all of that stuff so that you can discover that for yourself, but I can't tell you exactly what it is for you. If you don't plan to outsource the responsibility of managing your investment portfolio to somebody that you can trust, If you plan to do it all yourself, that's great. I know you can. That's what I'm trying to help with. But you're going to have to spend some time discovering and really learning your one-of-a-kind style. It's not going to be easy. If it was, everyone would be doing it successfully. And by the way, it may seem like everyone is doing it successfully now, but be careful not to let a bull run fool you. In 1999, almost every young trader in the market looked like a genius until most of them lost everything over the following couple of years. Coming back to the example from earlier, I think Michael J. is doing a good job of trying to teach you to fish. I haven't seen all of his videos, but those I have seem to be thoughtful from this perspective. And he's also a great visible example of my points in this video. And I'm sure he knows I don't mean anything bad about him here. Honestly, I have a lot of respect for his incredible transparency. I'm assuming everyone who is subscribed to me is also subscribed to him, but if not, you should go check out his honest and well thought out videos. But the reason I want to talk more about him is that he has publicly mentioned following me into two, at least that's all I've seen, of my top stock picks. I heard about the first one about a month after I had already sold my position. I believe at that time it was one of his best performers in his portfolio, if not the best. I think it was the best.
And has since been one of the best performing investments in the portfolio, currently up 29%.
I immediately commented informing him that I had sold my holdings when it was up about 50% after 2 months, and that I didn't know if or when I'd be getting back in. This was information I had already shared privately with my insider community. Now, I don't know what he did with that information and if he was able to make some money on that position, but at least he had all the information. You see, it's impossible for me to share with you every little aspect about the way I trade each position, and it wouldn't help you anyway. I want to help you recognize and discover what exactly would work best for you based on your unique style and personality. When I find out someone traded on some stock that I shared and that they performed worse than I did, I feel bad, like personally. I feel guilty. I don't think I should, but I'm telling you, I do. So I didn't feel too bad about the example I just gave for Michael because I caught it in time. At least, as far as I know, he didn't lose any on that one. But then, in his incredibly open and honest year-end assessment, he mentioned that one of his lessons for the year was this very subject, that despite his understanding of this concept, despite his own warnings to his viewers of this idea, he fell victim to it himself. He had invested in an idea that he had heard from someone else without performing his own adequate due diligence.
However, unfortunately, while I did do a lot of research and due diligence on these two companies and I felt very comfortable about them when investing, I failed to do so for Venator Materials and made a serious mistake by buying the stock without doing my proper due diligence. This was done after watching another investment YouTuber's video on the stock, liking the investment thesis they presented, and buying the stock at that point without doing significant further research.
And although he didn't throw me under the bus there, that idea was mine. I'll own it. It helps illustrate my point here, and I hope it helps to drive home my concern and your awareness. I've profitably traded all but two of the ideas I've shared with you here on this channel. One of those, where I'm down, I'm still in it. I know the risks, and I think it still has potential long term. But with the other, the fundamentals quickly changed after I released my video. I sold out of my relatively small position at a 20% loss, a scenario that I was mentally prepared for upon my entering of that position. I felt terrible when I heard that this was his biggest loss for the year. I felt bad that I hadn't been able, or known that doing so might have helped, to share certain specifics of my trades with him. Now, Michael is professional in his conduct, and I sincerely believe that he doesn't blame me for that. And I don't think I should feel bad. But if I'm being honest, I absolutely do. I don't regret the risk-reward profile that that particular stock brought to my personal portfolio, even though it resulted in a loss. That happens. But I do feel bad knowing that it caused him a loss. And worse, if Michael, as I said before, someone who is acutely aware of this problem and has even preached these same warnings, if he is able to make that mistake, how many of my viewers make similar or even worse mistakes as a result of my videos? Again, I don't necessarily think I should feel bad about that, but I do. And that's why I say dealing with stocks is far more dangerous than dealing with fish. Fish! The fact that someone listening to one of my ideas, a stock that might work for me in my personal portfolio, the fact that they could invest in that stock, and the knowledge that some absolutely will, without fully understanding all the mental preparation that I've put into knowing how I'll react given various possible outcomes, both positive and negative, without fully understanding exactly how that stock uniquely fits into my portfolio based on my current holdings, and more importantly, without having fully adapted everything I just said for themselves, for their unique portfolios, for their unique tolerance and objectives, it's upsetting, it's concerning. The damage that can cause to your portfolio, to your investments, to your savings, to your hard-earned assets can be significant. Now, I wanted to spend the bulk of my time in this video talking about my personal ideas, because that's really what I'm struggling with here. Am I doing more good or harm by sharing these ideas and their accompanying analyses? Are people learning from the detailed descriptions of my process, which is my goal after all? Or are they just blindly investing and hoping for the best? And although it may not be my fault necessarily if they are primarily doing the latter, that doesn't mean it won't factor into my decision as to how I proceed. Honestly, from a YouTube perspective, those are my best videos, the top stock pick series, that is. But it's not worth it if it's doing more harm than good. And that's my personal dilemma, not your problem, but I wanted you to know where I'm coming from and what's going on in my head. If you have a constructive perspective on this, I welcome it and look forward to reading it in the comments. But whether or not I continue making these videos, I want to reinforce Michael's cautionary wisdom. This isn't just about my picks. It applies to everyone's here on YouTube, and anywhere for that matter. It applies to Michael's, as he's said. It applies to Jeremy's, as I believe I've heard him say before as well. You have to do your own work in order to learn about yourself as an investor and ultimately develop your own style. I hope that I can find the best ways to help you with that. Until then, I wish you all the best. Take care.
Fish.